I'm not proud of it, but if you'd been in my shoes, maybe you would have done the same. I wasn't born a criminal. I didn't grow up dreaming of hustling pills in dark stairwells or counting cash under flickering kitchen lights. I was just trying to survive, feed myself, feed my little brother, keep the lights on for one more night. It started out simple, too simple. A friend of a friend said, "Just drop off this envelope, easy cash." I didn't ask what was inside, didn't want to know. I was hungry, broke, and tired of pretending that anything else was coming my way. One drop turned into two, then I had a burner phone, a route, a name people started to remember in the right kind of circles. I told myself I wasn't doing anything that bad. I wasn't forcing anyone. I wasn't hurting people. Not directly, anyway. I wasn't like those big-time guys with gold chains and dead eyes. I was just getting by, just helping my brother with school lunches, just paying mom's medical bills, just surviving. And for a while it worked. No one asked questions. The money came fast, real fast, faster than I'd ever seen. For the first time, I could buy groceries without counting coins. I could buy my brother a winter coat without feeling shame in my throat. Hell, I even started to believe I was in control of it. But life's funny like that. The moment you think you've got it handled, it reminds you who's really in charge. It was a cold Thursday morning. I remember because the snow had just started falling, and everything felt quiet, like the city was holding its breath. I came home late the night before. Usual drop, nothing strange. And there he was, my brother, sitting on the edge of the couch, holding something he shouldn't have. I froze. He looked up at me, eyes wide. "It was in your jacket," he said. He didn't understand what it was. Not yet. But I knew what was coming. And for the first time since all this began, I felt fear that went deeper than any cop or client ever gave me. Because this wasn't about me anymore. Before all of this, we were just three people trying to hold it together in a crumbling apartment that always smelled like wet concrete and cigarette smoke. Mom used to work at a textile factory. Long shifts, bad pay, but steady, until the coughing started. At first, it was just in the mornings. Then it didn't stop. Turned out to be something worse. Something that eats at you from the inside, quietly. The doctors had names for it, prescriptions, even hope, but all of that costs money. And hope, where we lived, was luxury. I was 22. My little brother Dima had just turned 13. Too smart for his own good, always asking questions, always watching. He deserved more than what we could give him, and I was tired of hearing his stomach growl through the walls at night. I tried. God knows I tried. I went to job interviews, construction sites, warehouses. No experience. Position filled. We'll call you. They never did, and when they did, it was for scraps. 12-hour shifts and pay that wouldn't cover half of mom's meds. I started taking side work, moving boxes, running errands, small stuff. Then came Ruslan. He was one of those guys that everyone knew but nobody talked about too loudly. Clean clothes, quiet voice, always smiling. The kind of smile that never reaches the eyes. He offered me a job like it was nothing. "You're a smart guy," he said. "Reliable. I've got things that need to be moved. No risk. Good pay." I knew what he meant. You don't live where I lived and not know. I should have said no. I wanted to. But I looked at my brother that night, eating cold soup from a cracked bowl, and something inside me snapped. I said yes. First, it was envelopes, then bags. I was a ghost on the street, in and out, eyes down, mouth shut. The money came easy. Too easy. I paid for mom's inhalers, bought better food, replaced the broken heater. I even smiled once in a while. Like maybe I wasn't drowning anymore. But the thing about dirty water is, no matter how well you swim, it stains you. I started seeing familiar faces. Kids from the block, people I used to joke with in school. They were on the other side now, eyes sunken, hands twitching. I told myself it wasn't my fault, that I wasn't like those guys selling poison on corners. I didn't deal to kids, I didn't mix it myself, I was just surviving. I got good at lying to myself, and the better I got at surviving, the further I drifted from who I used to be. The day everything changed wasn't loud. There were no sirens, no gunshots, no screaming, just this eerie stillness, like something deep in the world had paused to watch me crash. After that morning, the one where Dima found what he wasn't supposed to, I tried to pull back. I really did. I told Ruslan I needed time. Told him my mom was getting worse. He nodded, slow and cold, like he already knew I was lying. Take your time, he said, but don't forget who helped you eat. That was the thing with him. He never yelled. He didn't have to. I started hiding things better, changing routes, lying to Dima more than ever. Where you going? Just work. When'll you be back? Soon. But he wasn't a kid anymore. Not really. He knew. And worse, I could see it in his face. He hated what I was becoming. Then it happened. I came home late one evening, after a long drop near the edge of town. The hallway smelled like piss and mold, same as always. But the door to our apartment was cracked open, just slightly. That was wrong. I never left it like that. Inside, chaos. Drawers pulled, papers on the floor, the kitchen light swinging, and Dima, gone. Panic hit me like a brick to the chest. I ran through the building, down the stairs, into the street, yelling his name like a madman. Nothing. It took 2 hours before I got the call. Blocked number. Voice I didn't know. Calm. He's with us, for now. Turns out someone I dealt to, a guy I thought was a small-time user, got picked up. Talked too much. Said my name. Gave too many details. Ruslin's people found out before the cops did. They thought I was slipping, maybe snitching, maybe just too sloppy to keep around. Taking Dima? That was their way of reminding me who held the leash. My head spun. My chest felt hollow. I begged, threatened, offered money I didn't even have. The voice just laughed and hung up. That night I sat alone in the hallway. The neighbors peeked from behind doors, said nothing. The city kept breathing around me, cold and uncaring. And me? I realized I'd traded everything for a lie, for fake power, fake freedom. And now my little brother might die because I wanted to survive. I didn't sleep that night, or the next one. I sat on the cold floor of that apartment, the one I thought I'd saved with all the money I made, and stared at the front door like it might open and bring Dima home again. It didn't. I didn't eat, barely drank. My hands shook. My mind kept looping the same thought. He's gone because of me. On the third night, I walked out. No plan, no destination. I wandered the city, through alleys and broken playgrounds, past the blocks I used to feel safe in. Everything looked different. Smaller, dirtier, meaner. Maybe it was always like this. I just didn't notice. I ended up in the basement of a building I used to stash product in. Concrete walls, leaking pipes, cold enough to see your breath. I sat there for hours, watching the water drip from a rusted valve, each drop echoing like a clock ticking down to nothing. That's where I broke. I cried, man. Not like in the movies. No music, no beauty in it. Just raw, ugly sobbing. I punched the wall until my knuckles bled, screamed into the dark until my voice cracked. I wanted to disappear, to rewind, to erase everything. And then I heard a voice. You look like shit. It was Artyom, a guy I knew from school. We hadn't spoken in years. He used to be deep in the game, heavier than me, but then just vanished. Rumors said rehab. Others said he got out, found some church. I didn't care back then. But now? Now I clung to him like a lifeline. He didn't judge, didn't talk much. Just sat with me, passed me a bottle of water, let me breathe. And then quietly he said, there's still a way out, but it's gonna hurt. He took me to a small community center. Run-down place, old tiles, smelled like boiled cabbage. But the people there, they listened. Ex-users, former inmates, mothers who lost kids, brothers who'd survived. They didn't care about my past, just that I showed up. I didn't change overnight. I was still angry, still messed up, still scared out of my mind. But something shifted. I told them everything. About Ruslin, the deals, Dima. I poured it out like poison I'd been carrying for too long. And for the first time, someone said, "You're not alone." That's when I knew. I couldn't keep running. Couldn't keep hiding behind survival. I had to become someone Dima could come home to, if he ever did. 2 weeks later, Dima came home. I still don't know what deal was made, or what strings were pulled. Maybe it was Ruslin, maybe someone higher. Maybe they just wanted to scare me and move on. But I'll never forget the look on my brother's face when he walked through that door. He didn't say anything, just dropped his backpack, looked at me for a long second, and then hugged me. Tight, like he was afraid I might vanish. And in that moment, I knew This was the second chance most people like me don't get. I quit everything that week, burned the burner phone, disappeared from the scene. I moved us out of that building, far from the old roots, the old faces, the old ghosts. I worked whatever jobs I could, cleaning, lifting, night shifts, anything that paid honest. It wasn't easy. There were nights I couldn't sleep, thinking someone might knock at the door, days where I missed the fast money, where I thought about slipping just once. But every time I looked at Dima, doing his homework, making tea, laughing at dumb videos, I remembered why I started again. Mom didn't make it. Her body was already too weak. But before she passed, I got to sit by her bed, hold her hand, and tell her I was clean, that Dima was safe, that we were okay. And when she smiled, even weakly, it felt like I could finally breathe again. Now it's been 3 years. I work at a youth center, same one Artyom brought me to. I help kids like I used to be, lost, angry, hungry for something more. I don't tell them what to do. I just tell them what happened to me. Some listen, some walk away. But that's all right. Seeds take time. Dima's in college now, studying it. Can you believe that? The kid who used to steal batteries from the remote to fix his toy cars is now writing code like it's poetry. He still gets quiet sometimes, still carries shadows, but he's healing. We both are. Am I proud of who I was? No. But am I proud of who I'm becoming? Yeah, I think I am. I'm not a hero, not a saint. I've done things I can't undo. But I'm alive, I'm clean, I'm here. And sometimes, that's enough.